Thank you. And just to wrap up with Mr. Farrar, and then I want to move to some other questions. First of all, I didn't thank you for your service to our country and a long career, and to your family as well for doing that. And you and I have never met. We haven't spoken before on these issues, and I look forward to talking to you more about these in the future. I just want to leave on the record what my concerns are, not just specifically about the nomination, but in general about the situation in Nicaragua. You have a government there that's conducting an all-out assault on the constitutional order and on the independence of government institutions. You have a Daniel Ortega who is using his relationship with Hugo Chavez not just for personal enrichment, but to create an alternative, basically, government in terms of funding mechanisms for many things that are happening. You have a government that's openly supporting Muammar Gaddafi, openly supported Russia's invasion of Georgia and the creation of states out of that invasion. And in the face of that, we have to send someone to be the face of the United States in Managua. And I think that should be someone who's going to be forceful. You're not going to Luxembourg. It's not Liechtenstein. I mean, this is a place that's headed in the wrong direction in a hurry. And America needs a forceful presence there. And I have to be honest, we don't know each other well. I've only known about your record from what I've read and preparing for this hearing today, but I'm concerned about some of the decisions that you made at the intersection in Havana. We have complaints, numerous complaints from dissidents and human rights activists. We have instances of invitations to Castro regime officials at the expense of others in the civil society to be at certain events. Some other decisions, some of the things talk about the Christmas tree and the Christmas stuff that was taken down, the ticker. These may be symbolic, but they were certainly part of a forceful presence in the area. And then to top it all off, we have State Department officials visiting Havana, and instead of staying at the intersection, and maybe there's a good reason why they didn't stay there, they stayed at the Hotel Nacional, which in addition to being an expropriated property, appears to me to be a security risk to stay in a place like that, in a country like that. Suffice it to say that it is my opinion, just from the little I know, and I can be dissuaded, I mean, that's why I want to hear today, that the strategy that you adopted at the intersection was not to offend or to try to avoid offending or being abrasive with the Castro government, because you felt perhaps it would give you more space to function and carry out your mission. Obviously you have the right to respond to that, and maybe you view it very differently, but I'm concerned about that because it's not what I think I would like to see as the strategy in Managua, and maybe there are distinctions, and maybe you'll handle that post differently. I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond to that. I do have questions for all four panelists as well, but if you'd like to respond to that.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. I think I have a 30-year record of service to the United States. My previous position before going to Havana was as the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, where I worked with civil society around the world. While I was in the Bureau there, we developed some of the very programs that we were then able to take advantage of and use in Havana. I'm talking about programs such as the Global Human Rights Defenders Fund, which was created while I was in DRO. Civil society, human rights is near and dear to my heart. It's been part of my career for almost 30 years now. In Havana, we have been trying to find the most effective ways to communicate, to expand space for civil society. The world changes, and we come up with new programs in order to be able to connect. Some of those new programs are ones that I described. The blogging classes, the computer classes, the distributing free software. We still do some of the old methods as well. In the first 8 months of this fiscal year, we distributed 21,000 copies of the Nuevo Herald in Cuba. Some of the old methods work, but we need to be innovative and creative in trying to work with civil society, whether it's in Cuba or whether it's in Nicaragua or anywhere else around the world. And that's truly what I have dedicated my time to. Thank you.